The spectre of Jacob Zuma continues to loom large over South Africa's political landscape, even years after his presidency. Zuma's time in office remains one of the most contentious chapters in the country's post-apartheid history, marked by allegations of corruption, economic mismanagement, and institutional decay. Today, the nation finds itself at a crossroads as conversations around his potential political comeback gain momentum. While his supporters frame him as a symbol of resistance against entrenched power structures, his critics argue that his return would undermine South Africa's hard-fought progress and accountability. In this video, we will explore the legacy of Jacob Zuma, the aftermath of his presidency, and the implications of his possible re-emergence in South African politics. To understand the current debates, we need to revisit the years of Zuma's presidency. Jacob Zuma assumed office in 2009, riding on a wave of popular support and promises to address the pressing socio-economic challenges facing the nation. At the time, South Africans were eager for transformative leadership, and many believed Zuma could bridge the gap between the government and the marginalized communities. However, his tenure quickly became mired in controversy. Accusations of corruption began to surface, culminating in what is now known as the state capture scandal, a systematic looting of public resources by private entities linked to Zuma's inner circle. This scandal, involving the Gupta family, exposed the vulnerabilities of South Africa's institutions and eroded public trust in the government. The economic repercussions of Zuma's leadership were profound. During his presidency, South Africa's credit rating was downgraded to junk status, unemployment soared, and foreign investment dwindled. The economy, once a beacon of hope on the African continent, found itself in a precarious position. Beyond the financial toll, the institutional damage was equally significant. Key state-owned enterprises, such as Eskom and South African Airways, became synonymous with inefficiency and corruption. The judiciary, media, and civil society worked tirelessly to expose the rot, but the damage to public institutions was undeniable. As Zuma's presidency drew to a close in 2018, his successor, Cyril Ramaphosa, promised to steer South Africa toward recovery. Ramaphosa's administration focused on rebuilding trust, rooting out corruption, and revitalizing the economy. While progress has been made in some areas, the scars of the Zuma years remain visible. South Africans continue to grapple with high unemployment, persistent inequality, and a fragile economic recovery. Despite these challenges, Jacob Zuma retains a loyal base of supporters. To them, he represents more than just a former president, he is a symbol of defiance against the perceived elitism of South Africa's political establishment. His ability to connect with grassroots communities, particularly in rural areas, has solidified his position as a political figurehead. However, critics argue that this loyalty is often rooted in a misplaced nostalgia for a leader whose actions contributed to the very hardships his supporters now face. The possibility of Zuma's political comeback has sparked intense debate. His critics, including civil rights activists and political commentators, have been vocal in their opposition. They argue that a return to politics would not only hinder South Africa's progress but also undermine efforts to hold leaders accountable. At a recent rally, protesters emphasized the need for transparency and integrity in governance, rejecting any attempts to gloss over past transgressions. One prominent civil rights leader put it bluntly, "Zuma must not think that we forgot what he and his gang did to us before." This sentiment reflects a broader concern about the erosion of trust in South Africa's democracy. For many, the fight against corruption is not just about punishing wrongdoers but about protecting the principles upon which the country's democracy was built. Allowing leaders with tarnished records to re-enter the political arena sends a troubling message, potentially normalizing the very behaviors that South Africans have been working to eradicate. However, Zuma's supporters see things differently. They argue that his legal battles, including his ongoing corruption trial, are part of a broader conspiracy to silence voices that challenge the status quo. This narrative resonates with those who feel disillusioned by the slow pace of transformation in post-apartheid South Africa. For these supporters, Zuma's defiance in the face of adversity is a source of inspiration, even as critics warn against conflating personal loyalty with effective leadership. The discourse surrounding Zuma's potential return also reflects deeper tensions within the African National Congress, ANC. As the ruling party, the ANC has faced criticism for its internal divisions and perceived inability to address the country's pressing challenges. Zuma's continued influence within the party complicates its efforts to present a united front. For Ramaphosa, navigating these dynamics requires balancing the need for accountability with the risk of alienating Zuma supporters. Looking ahead, South Africa finds itself at a critical juncture. The question of whether Jacob Zuma can or should make a political comeback is not just about one man's ambitions, it is about the future of the nation's democracy. As citizens, leaders, and institutions grapple with this debate, the stakes could not be higher. Upholding principles of accountability, integrity, and transparency is essential for building a more equitable and prosperous future. The legacy of Jacob Zuma serves as a cautionary tale for future leaders. It highlights the dangers of unchecked power, the importance of robust institutions, and the need for vigilant citizenry. At the same time, it underscores the complexities of leadership in a society still grappling with the legacies of apartheid and inequality. South Africa's journey toward justice and progress is far from over, but the lessons of the past provide a roadmap for the challenges ahead. As we conclude, we invite you to reflect on the implications of Jacob Zuma's potential political return. What does his legacy mean for South Africa's future? How can the nation strike a balance between forgiveness and accountability? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue this important conversation. If you found this discussion insightful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any future content. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.